Good evening, everybody. We are live on Never Mind the Buy Box. I am just going to find the right link for the video. Oh, there we go. We don't seem to be on much of a delay tonight. I did one, I think it was in Elite Sellers Academy the other night with Luke. And we literally had about a 30 or 40-second delay between the live feed and the comments. And, you know, in this day and age, it's crazy. Anyway, tonight I'm joined by the lovely Hayden. Hayden, how are you?
Good. Thanks. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's much appreciated. Like I said, we're trying to get a bit of diversity, a bit of variety of different guests on at the moment, and you very kindly agreed to come on and talk to us about your Amazon selling journey, which started just this year. So I'm really keen to kind of dive deep and go into your experiences, what's been going on over the last kind of crazy, what month is it? We're in October, aren't we?
October, yeah. It's my birthday next month. It's the only reason I know.
Oh, is it? What, November?
Yeah. November, yeah.
What date in November?
16th.
Oh, 16th. It's my son's birthday on the 25th. So, right. Yeah. So you're in good company, definitely. So let's say hello to everyone. Not sure how busy it's going to be tonight because obviously the amazing Matt Webley is also running Secret Ties. I'm giving him a free advert at the moment. So not that we want you to leave us. And, you know, we're happy to have as many viewers as possible, obviously. But let's say hello to everyone. Sean Gilbert's watching. Sean, I thought you were out clicking and collecting. I thought about half an hour ago you said you were clicking and collecting live for the next hour. So let us know on that. Let's just have a quick look. Pardon?
You've seen Janet's comment?
No, I haven't gone down. Is it about your picture?
It is, yeah. OCD's going mad. Overdrive.
Right, you're going to have to explain yourself on that in a minute. Let's say hello to everyone. Because you literally got a bit of a beasting.
My boxes have caused a right steam, haven't they? They always do. There's no one else that does them like me.
Absolutely brilliant. Even I'm of the opinion, even I could probably take better than that. No, I'm only joking, Hayden. Honestly, I'm only joking. So Marge joined us, Inga, Janet, Ruth, evening, Adam, Jed, hi Sue, hi Janet. Right, just seen Hayden's post of the last shipment. My OCD has gone into overdrive looking at how messy they are. Right, let's address it. Let's get the elephant. Yeah, let's address it first. So what were you thinking, Hayden?
Right, so I get all these boxes and they're in perfectly good condition. And then I stick 15 kilograms worth of weight in them, and then they go a little bit skiffy woo. So I have to double tape the whole thing on each side twice. So I use like a whole roll of tape for every 2 boxes just to make sure it doesn't fall out. Because I've had it before where I've lifted it all up and then it's all dropped out the bottom. So yeah, that's my way around it. I just wrap them up and then refuse to buy new boxes, really. So.
Well, it's absolutely, I mean, we talk about this quite a lot. At the end of the day, Luke Dugan, as we all know, who's a bit of my partner in crime and Never Mind the Buy Box and Elite Sellers as well, he is the master of squeezing every possible lot. I mean, you've seen it yourself with some of the things that he's talked about, Hayden. He is the master of squeezing every single penny of profit out of everything that he can. So, you know, when it comes to reusing boxes, it's something you don't have much of an opportunity to do when you go over to a prep center. So I get the fact that you're obviously doing it. I think just compounded with the boxes and then the dead body in the background, I think that was just...
I remember the first time I saw them, and I don't even eat meat. So when I first saw it hanging there, I was just horrified. I thought they had like a cow carcass there or whatever. And I went in there and they just said, no, it's a decoration.
Yeah, let's just clarify that as well. I realized I didn't clarify it after saying that. For anyone that hasn't seen it, it's in the Secret Wealth Project. Bless him. Hayden put up his picture of his last prep shipment before moving over to a prep center, and got a bit of stick for the boxes. And then there was a Halloween decoration in the background that was literally a corpse hanging up. So I think it, like some other people on there, it just genuinely made me laugh. I was literally laughing out loud as I was reading some of the comments. It was just comedy gold.
Mark Penn's comments got double figure likes now.
Mark's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I think he just said in that moment what everyone was thinking as soon as they saw that picture. So
I did sort of go, ooh. And then on my Instagram, I've put it as black and white, so it doesn't look as.
I saw that.
Oh, I didn't know I had you on Instagram.
Oh, sorry, not on Instagram. I saw it. You put it on Facebook, and your Facebook.
Yeah.
It must
yeah, my Instagram keeps doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but get yourself the Photoshop app, and you can blur out the background. You can pixelate it.
Yeah, I'll put some new boxes in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry, we just had to clear that up for everyone because it was, it was incredibly funny. So if you do want to have a look at what we're looking at, it's just in the Facebook group. It was Hayden's last post, and it just gave us all a good chuckle in these trying times. So Mark's joined us as well. So Mark and his ninja taping. So evening, Mark. Evening, Nikkei. Salvatore's joined us. Good to see Hayden on Nevermind the Buy Box. Absolutely.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people actually. I'm really surprised. It's very busy tonight. So Kate's here. Adam's here. Pardon?
Surprised?
No. Okay. Not because of you, Hayden. I thought you would bring double figures because obviously Matt's running Secret Tribes tonight as well. So I'm probably going to get into trouble. But I just know, obviously, when we couldn't do it last time, and it was a genuine scheduling mix-up last time when Secret Tribes was on. Everyone was like, "Oh no, we're going to miss it," and I felt really weird not doing it. And then I was just sort of like, no, just got to make sure we stick to the pan, really. So Sean says he's on his way home, so he's done all his click and collecting. Cindy's joined us, says hi Nat and Hayden. Harminder, evening. Ray's in the house. Hi everyone. I'll switch into my phone. So annoying. Simona's joined us. Sorry, it sounded like so annoying. Simona's joined us. I mean, it's so annoying. That's not what I meant. It meant it's so annoying that I have to change from the desktop to the phone because it doesn't, as you know, because you run StreamYard as well. It doesn't give you all of the names and the figures and everything like that.
Sometimes, doesn't it? And it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kathleen, Ben, Sue's joined us. Radu, Cindy says those boxes are fugly. Absolutely. Andre, Roisin, Hassan. Matt's joined us, who Matt was on last week. Yeah, so if anyone's not had a chance yet to look at Matt's kind of Nevermind the Buy Box episode from last week, make sure you check out the replay either in the files video section on the Facebook group or through YouTube, because that was brilliant. He gave loads of gold nuggets. Right, let's have a look. Simona said, haha, sorry. Farouk, Lauren, right, I think we've caught up. We've caught up with everyone. So how are you, Hayden? So how are things going?
Yes, very good. Thanks. Very good. Been the busiest day of the year today. Sure. Moving out the unit, trying to run the business. Got podcast interview earlier. Got your interview today, obviously, and then yeah, just rambling everything else in as well. So it's been a busy day, but yeah, good. Feels good to be out the unit and done and finished, and fugly box is gone.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were in what kind of storage units or?
Yeah, storage mart. Like, yeah. So it's just a 175 square foot unit, I think. So it was just cheap and cheerful, but yeah, it was nice. Got the job done.
No, absolutely. I mean, different points and different businesses. At the end of the day, it's a place. Most of those kind of places, you can do quite good deals with the people that run them. They'll receive your goods. They'll, send the UPS boxes while you're there. It depends, obviously, individually which one you're going to be using in your own local town. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, our first units were storage units. I think it's the way to go. Really, they're generally low cost. You can get them half price for a period of time. There's not long commitment periods, and like I said, they offer additional benefits like they'll collect your packages on your behalf. Well, not collect, sorry, they'll receive your packages on your behalf. Some places will even, if you need to go at 12 o'clock and UPS hasn't turned up yet, they'll even wait to have it collected, for you. So yeah, absolutely. I think just got to make sure you pick the right one for winter though.
Absolutely, yeah. I was actually in an outside unit before I moved into this one, and it was good timing that I went inside because it started to get a bit more cold, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They stay cut and they stay cold for ages as well.
Yeah.
So even when it starts to really warm up outside, they're still freezing.
Yeah.
Just going to answer this one. Amalia says, anyway, suggest to watch both Nevermind the Bibles and Secret Tribes at the same time. You are a multitasker, Amalia.
Yeah. The last time Matt ran Secret Tribes, I was also trying to multitask and I kept dipping in and out of one or the other on the phone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Best way to do it is to watch Matt on Facebook with Secret Tribes. And then if you haven't already, if you find Nevermind the Buy Box on YouTube, we're streaming live on there as well. So if you could open both on 2 different browsers. So you can have us on YouTube and then have Matt on Facebook as well. So hopefully that will help. Ash has joined us. So's Craig. Antonio's joined us. Russell's joined us. Sherry, it was Sherry that was part of the picture earlier, and we were really laughing. Chippo's joined us, and Anna Ronke. I'm going to stop going on about that picture now, anyway. So yeah, Kate says, yeah. Oh, everyone's saying that they're switching between both of them. Got 2 open. Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Hayden. Everybody's definitely making the effort for you tonight. So let's just talk. I mean, it's been a busy day at the moment. Obviously, we're at the start of. I personally think that this is, like I said, I'm like literally struggling for dates at the moment. Where are we? Because things that the house would normally all be fully dressed up for Halloween at the moment, but it's not because we're not really doing Halloween this year. So normally that's how I determine where I am in the year, because the house is dressed.
We're not doing Halloween.
Yeah, there we go. Hayden's got the special special costume for that.
I came on like that. I came on with the hat on, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, because I think when you put it on your channel, it was a bit like, right, I'm going to bring my witch's hat, because you announced it in like a Halloween kind of font. Yeah, so it's kind of, I think for most people, especially because this is actually your first proper Q4 as well, isn't it?
It's my first ever Q4, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really something you kind of experience. So for all of us people that have done it before, for the people that haven't done it, it kind of sometimes, I think, is hard for people to believe when we talk about this period of time and it being so busy and so crazy. And I think someone even asked in the Facebook group the other day, so when's this kind of Q4 going to start? And it's a bit of a misconception, because obviously it is... it's not actually 3 months that it's absolutely mad for. It's a period of about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, that it's crazy for. But I think, given everything that's going to happen this year with everything that's going on at the moment, normally we see this really busy period of time after Black Friday, and then it just goes mad right up until Christmas. But I think this year we've already said that it'll probably start a little bit earlier. I'm seeing evidence of that in my own sales as well. But I think this year, this is a payday situation that people are going to be waiting for. Maybe, possibly, depending on their own personal circumstances, they might have used money that they've been saving up, for if they've lost their job or something like that in the year. So I think funds are going to be distributed differently this year. But I do think that this is going to be an important turning point now in the sales period for this period of time. And I think it's going to be after this weekend. So I think we're going to get a payday this weekend, obviously. And then I think we'll start to see that gradual kind of uplift to the point where it just goes nuts. Because I still think it's going to go nuts.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so that's just to kind of let everyone know who maybe still be asking the question, okay, has Q4 started yet? No, it hasn't. Not really. To be perfectly honest, I'm seeing, we had a very strong sales day today, and it's like Tuesday. It's not, might have had a few people around the country that have been paid at the moment, but predominantly I would say it's this weekend. Predominantly that's when we'll be looking to see that kind of big uplift in sales, and especially for those seasonal goods. as well. So, but I was super impressed. I was going to say I was super impressed, and I put a post in today about how quickly stuff's checking in at the moment. It's like
big time. Yeah, I wake up to like a list of emails every day. You know, usually it's like every once a week or something. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems to be while stuff. Our last shipment was picked up Monday afternoon, and it's just checked in and gone. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Got on to see the dates at the moment, and it was selling this morning. So it's absolutely crazy how quickly everything's checking in at the moment. And normally we'd be seeing a few delays now, and we wouldn't really see shipments start eating up again until into November. So yeah, quite interesting.
Is that have you got that setting turned off? I can't remember what it's called. You know, where your items sell before the shipment's even checked in, or before what's that called? I've forgotten what it's called.
I don't know what it's called, but I'm not sure if we have it turned off.
Everyone's opted into that automatically, and I don't know how to opt out of it. I saw someone post how to opt out of that.
Yeah,
it could cause issues. You know, if there's an issue with fulfillment or something. But yeah, that seems to be some of my items are selling before they've even hit.
Yeah. Well, my kind of 2 cents on it is I predominantly had kind of bundles and unique listings, custom listings that landed today. There was a couple of arbitrage bits in, but they were mainly my own listings. Now, I sold a couple before they'd even hit. I think they were the arbitrage ones. They were the arbitrage ones. And I checked, and it said that they weren't going to be in stock until the 20th of November. Then as soon as I'd sold a couple before the stock had hit, so yes, we must be, we haven't opted out of it. As soon as I did that, then as soon as they were sold, within the hour, the stock started to check in. So I wonder if it is a quicker, you know, it's like Amazon are testing the water to see how quickly the stock's going to sell. Okay, that's going to sell, right? So we pull our finger out on that particular shipment, get it checked in, so we know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
I'd like to think Amazon are that advanced. I think they could be that advanced, but you know,
definitely underestimate our Bezos.
Absolutely.
There's its Head Start program. It's called
Head Start program. Yeah, I didn't. It's one of those things that I didn't see the benefit of opting out, and I didn't see the benefit of opting. I just didn't. It wasn't really kind of an issue. If the stock sells quicker, then it's up to Amazon to pull their finger out and post it out.
I haven't looked into it, and I'm not sure what was going on with Seller Central and sales yesterday, but I woke up, I went to bed last night, I only had a few £100 worth of sales, but I woke up and my graph, just compared to the other day, is just skyrocketed. So either I got loads of sales from incoming shipments or a random burst of sales in the last 2 hours when I went to bed at 10. I don't think so. It might have just been Seller Central playing up, but I got a massive burst of sales. Like
was that
£400 last night? Yeah, just in the last 2 hours of going to bed.
It wasn't. Seller Central wasn't reporting properly yesterday.
Right, so it might have been throughout the day and it didn't report it.
Yeah, I think it just wasn't reporting. It wasn't reporting on the app, and it wasn't reporting on desktop. Normally you get one reporting over the other, but both weren't reporting yesterday. That's probably why.
It was a nice surprise to wake up to, but it was like, you know, double the day before and all that, so it's nice, but just really unexpected, you know. It's like, really? Did it go that mad when I went to bed? I would have stayed up and got some popcorn.
Did it? Yeah, no, I know. Sat there and watched it. Absolutely. Yeah. I think the funny thing is, and I've spoken about this before, so apologies if this is boring anyone, but before I was selling on Amazon, and part of that distribution business is we had business to consumer websites. And for some weird reason, these business to consumer websites, we used to get sales from sort of really late in the evening onwards and throughout the night. Then when we not changed to Amazon, but then when we added Amazon and then eventually moved into selling on Amazon, always had this thing with Amazon that you don't really sell any products overnight with Amazon. It's really weird that certainly I don't anyway. And sales start from about 6 o'clock and then they run up to about this time, maybe a little bit later. But people don't tend to be late night shoppers on Amazon for some reason. Whether it's to do with their reporting, I've never really looked into it in that much detail, but it's just kind of randomly odd that for such a massive platform that it just seems to be that no one buys stuff overnight. I just find it really weird.
It's definitely not just us either, because I did a post about this, didn't I, the other day? You know.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it. Sorry.
No, not about this specifically, but how daunting it is when you wake up in the morning and your sales are like, you know, nothing. So which shows we're not the only ones, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I find the whole thing really weird. Was I'm used to sort of waking up. It's the classic earn money while you kind of sleep, and with Amazon. You don't, because you don't tend to have many sales overnight. So yeah, if anyone's got any comments on that, if anyone's got any reasoning why, is it because Amazon don't report the figures? I must admit, been selling for God knows how many years, and I don't know if there's a specific reason why that happens, or you know, maybe it's
yeah.
I
was one of the massive sellers, and he said, yeah, he takes between 5 p.m. and 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Never know. So we can there's definitely something I don't know, it's just always kind of baffled me, to be perfect. Maybe it's a difference in different types of categories or whatever, who knows. So I think Ash says watch the playback with Matt Webley. Oh, that was to do with obviously asking about watching both. He's going to be famous. You're going to be famous. I don't know who said it, though. Let's have a look. Oh, Russell. There you go. Russell says you're going to famous. I quite agree. That's why I wanted to snag you and get you on here early, so you can be my claim to fame later in life.
I like Russell. Yeah, cool guy.
Absolutely.
I like everyone in the community, really.
Yeah. Do you know what? We've got a lovely community, and there's some really great people here. And I think often if I do a webinar and I talk about the benefits of selling on Amazon, one of the things I absolutely always include is the people that I get to meet that I wouldn't have ordinarily have got to meet. And yes, we're not in a position where we can do much physical networking at the moment, but we can do stuff like this, and we can virtually talk to people. And, you know, I just love it. I think it's amazing. Nikkei says it's not the same with Bedfordshire fulfillment centre, waiting for a while with that. I think a lot of people, there was a couple of weeks ago, was a bit of a delay, and I think Janet said the same, still got a shipment stuck. It's why, and I know you were talking about this not so long ago, Hayden, is why it's, and again, came from very wise and benevolent Luke Degan, when he said about just make sure you're continually sending stuff in, because you're not, you know, you're not relying on those shipments to check in. The more consistent you can be with your prep, then the less you notice, or the less you notice shipments that are waiting to be checked in.
Yeah, I remember just a few months ago, I was, you know, I think it was in a mentoring call with Luke, you know, obviously. And he said that, you know, I remember complaining to him that 5 shipments are waiting to get checked in. And he said, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you worrying about that? He said, you should just have so many in there that you don't worry about the little ones that take a while to process. And it was a real mindset. It was a real mindset shift for me. I just thought, I can't be, it's not a proper business if I'm sitting there worrying about every tiny little thing. And I was on the phone to someone who's recently started the other day, and he said that he's just waiting for, you know, 1 shipment, you know, which is fine. You do that as a newbie, don't you? And I remembered, you know, I suppose it makes you think how far you've come, you know, like not worrying about the little bits, you know, because it's a numbers game, isn't it? It's just a numbers game, I think.
It is. And, you know, it's the equivalent of kind of stock market. I think with selling on Amazon, there's ups and downs, twists and turns, and you've got to look at it in different ways. But I mean, shipments are going through a lot quicker at the moment. John said it's very difficult to predict this year. Looking at previous years is not really a true guide. I completely agree, John. I made a video on that for YouTube just a couple of days ago, which I think is probably going to go live tomorrow, a couple of days after that, just talking about the fact that this weird period of time to do with COVID and things like that, we've just got to kind of get that out of our minds and not use that data during that period of time. Sorry, I should have added hashtag spoiler alert. I'm giving away all the details of the video, but it's really, really important that we don't look at this certain period of time during COVID this year and look at it to help us build our decisions for the future, because it's unreliable data at the end of the day. And I completely agree with John, I was reading someone else's comment, is that it really will depend on your products. And again, I completely agree with him. It's going to be dependent on what you're selling this year. It's his 10th Q4 and he's still being a little cautious in buying the larger quantities. And I get that, because it's going to be an unpredictable year this year, definitely. Yeah. Mark says Peterborough hazmat items being booked in rapid at the moment. Absolutely. Just trying to catch up so we don't go too far ahead on the comments. Ash said he had a shipment picked up yesterday afternoon. It was checked in this afternoon, live on the inventory. Well done, Amazon fulfillment centers. Yeah. It's not often.
I'm getting a load of random shipments that are being sent to places that I've never even heard of before. So that shows they're probably busy as well. Or they've got a better system of spreading them out a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. You guys, how are you seeing lots of fulfillment center transfers at the moment? Seem to be seeing a little bit less than that, but it's possibly not sending in such a wide variety of goods at the moment, because pumping in a lot of our kind of private label products at the moment. So there's less variety of SKUs. So they tend to all go to the same fulfillment centers. Obviously, if you've got a shipment of, say, 100 SKUs going in, it's likely that you're going to have lots of different fulfillment center transfers, because certain products go to certain places and things like that. But yeah, all looks good at the moment on the Amazon distribution side. It's been a bit shoddy for a few months, so I'm glad things seem to be.
Yeah, we won't mention stranded inventory or anything like that, but apart from that, it's all good.
Absolutely. Kate says she thinks there's a new fulfillment center in East Midlands, so that's good. I think Amazon, I think, with the whole COVID thing, it's knocked them off of their kind of path and plan this year with what they were going to do with certain things. Yeah. Certainly what they're going to do with what they were going to do with the European fulfillment network situation. So it's probably why there's not been a scenario for that, because of everything that's been going on with COVID, but we'll just have to wait and see. So let's talk a little bit about you, or a lot about you, Hayden, because everyone's keen, got a lot of people watching tonight. Everyone's keen to hear about your story. And in my post earlier, I talked about the fact that it's one of the questions we get asked the most. Is it too late? Is it too late to start Amazon? Have I missed the bandwagon? Have I missed the train when it comes to selling on Amazon? But I've got to be honest, some of the biggest success stories I'm seeing at the moment are people who have started selling in the last year, because it has been a phenomenal year of sales, obviously, on Amazon as well. So tell us about how you got started on Amazon. So what were you doing before, and what kind of led you into selling on Amazon?
Right. Well, where do I start? So last year and the year prior to that, I'm just trying to think in my head. Yeah, last year I owned a landscaping company, and it was just me last year. So I owned a landscaping and sort of garden maintenance company, and that was just me, actually, which was funny, because 3 years prior to that, I used to run. I don't know if it was the biggest, but probably the largest landscaping company in my area. I had about there's about six, seven guys, so it wasn't a massive company, but there wasn't anything like it in the area. So I was sort of quite proud of that and really enjoyed that for a while. Got out of that and then got into property. And then property, I was like, I used to run a management company in property, and I had 30, I honestly can't remember how many rooms, about 30 rooms I used to let out, like HMOs and stuff. Yeah. And I was well in that game. And then things happened with the business partners, and that all went a little bit skew. So then last year, I ended up just getting another van, getting back to what I know, and sort of, getting on the tools again. I was going to grow that into a company again, like I did prior. And then I thought, no, I knew exactly where this was going. I knew exactly how much I was going to be earning in 2 years if I grew it up again. I knew exactly what sort of effort it took to grow it, and I thought, not really for me. I want to completely pivot and change into something that doesn't require blood, sweat, and tears manually, even though I've been prepping for 3 months, but it doesn't require the same sort of, thing in all weathers and stuff. And I don't have to manage loads of staff that don't really want to be there, because that's sort of what you found in that business. You found that in a service industry like that, which doesn't have a high barrier to entry, staffing's a bit of an issue. That's what I found. So I just realized that it wasn't really matching with my long-term goals. So I decided to look into Amazon in it was 2019 it was about October, November last year. I looked into it and I did a private label course for 3 months. I did 3 months.
Classic mum, she always rings while I'm on this. Sorry.
Yeah, so I did a in-depth private label course, hours and hours and hours for 3 months at the end of last year. And then I decided that, and then I sort of found online arbitrage and decided that I didn't want to go into private label because it was more of an upfront cost. And to be honest, I didn't have the money at the time. So I decided that online arbitrage was less risk, and sort of it all sort of started from there, really. Yeah.
So you fully looked into private label for a really, really long time. Did you find a product?
I found everything. I got it. I literally found a product. I did all my research. I had all my keywords sorted out. I checked the other day, and there's still not anything else that is anything like what I was going to launch. So that could either be a really good thing or a really bad thing. I think it would work if I launched it now. But I just didn't get around to it, And it's funny because I'm so glad that I've done this, because I didn't even know what I was looking at. Seller Central looked like an unrecognizable alien when I first started private label. But I think definitely, personally, I think it's a great thing to start with not private label if you do want to get into it, quite possibly, because I didn't even understand how to work Seller Central when I was getting into private label. So it's definitely it could work for some straight from the off. But yeah, it was great to understand the cogs with retail arbitrage to start with.
I think personally, when it comes to private label versus OA/RA, I think it's always better, in my opinion. If anyone ever asked me, I would say, look, start with arbitrage, because I genuinely believe it's the selling vehicle on Amazon that exposes you to the most things of doing yourself and learning about this business yourself. Whereas with private label, don't get me wrong, it's an absolute minefield of everything else that you've got to learn. But you can outsource a lot of the private label stuff, to be perfectly honest. I know, and I've met sellers over the years that are 6-7 private label sellers on Amazon that don't know a thing about Amazon. That's fine. That's entirely up to them, because they use a prep center, they use freight forwarders, they have VAs doing the keyword research, they have people writing the listings for them, they have software for this and software for that, but they don't actually know anything about Amazon. If they were to, sit down and actually look at Amazon. Whereas I am a firm believer in, I think that if you're going to do something, I'm fully on board with outsourcing and everything like that. And I've made mistakes over the years where I haven't outsourced at the right time in my business, and it's cost me over the years. But I think with anything, you've got to experience it yourself to start with. And the more you can experience yourself to start with, I think the better chance you've got of success later on, because it enables you and it helps you navigate through problems on Amazon. And we all know that Amazon can be a bit of a tricky so-and-so. So the more knowledge that you can establish in the early parts of doing it, I think it really does help. So I completely agree. If anyone is starting out, I think OA is the way to go. It exposes you to the most. And compounding with that as well, if you've got a lower budget, it's kind of the better route to start with, because private label can be a very, very big investment, definitely. So you kind of started, you fell into you fell into online arbitrage, you sent your first few boxes in. So what happened then?
Well, I would show you what happened, but it might be hard. I can show you the graph for the last year. But honestly, it was like the first month was like that. It was, I can't even put my finger how small it was. It was like a millimeter on the graph. You know, it was probably like 180 quids worth of sales or something. It was absolutely, but it was, I was really happy with that because there was some sort of sales. And then, yeah, I just sort of got used to it, did a bit of RA, but I knew very quickly that RA wasn't the route for me. I'm always interested in a business that can be, it's funny because now Matthew, obviously, that you interviewed the other day, it's Matthew Wright, obviously, he's fully systemized, if you like, his RA business. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but generally, you don't systemize an RA business with loads of staff and stuff, the ones that I know anyway. So I knew it wasn't for me straight from the off doing the RA, but I sort of gave that a go as well and made a nice bit of profit per item from the ones that I found. And then I just started slowly testing multiple products and had some successes, but 50% of failures probably. And I just started testing and to be honest, I didn't even believe this would work as a business at all, like until it was literally being completely honest, 6 or 7, and that's only 3 months ago. Don't get me wrong, I sort of knew that something was working because of obviously all the money that I've turned over. You know, I would have lost it if it wasn't working, obviously. It wouldn't even be there. But I just struggled because, you know, and like obviously I'm sure a lot of people have gone through this as well, but you know what I mean? It's just like when you first start buying and selling and then a lot of stock takes a while to sell, even though you've made profit, it's like, what's your actual net profit? Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of that's in stock. And I just found it really hard to get my head around this, you know, and I didn't even have seller board until month 6 or month 5. So I was going off something else. So yeah, I don't know. So I was actually looking at my gross profit rather than my net profit. And then when I found out my net profit actually was, it was, yeah, it felt like my heart was broken. Like 50% was gone. Yeah, and that was quite, you know, that hit me quite hard. But yeah, so it was just testing, making loads of mistakes, loads of wrong buys, and that was me for a few months. I think, you know, I didn't hit it anywhere near as hard as some people I've seen that have done really well.
Oh no, but I think that's also the beauty of this business. You get to grow it at your own rate and what you feel comfortable with, and you know, you don't have to do the same as anyone else. You can have 2 different sellers. You can have one turning over 100 grand a month, and you can have another turning over 100 grand a month, but they would both have completely different profits. They would both have completely different costs and things like that. You can never compare yourself to anyone else in this business. And that's what I would always say to anyone. It's the first thing I say. Don't look at other people unless it motivates you. If it discourages you, turn everything off and only listen to the stuff that's going to kind of motivate you, that's not going to give you serious FOMO and thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working for me? You don't know those personal circumstances. You don't know that person's circumstances or why they're doing what they're doing. So and that's to everyone watching, unless you can be motivated by other people's figures, turn them off.
That's it. Yeah, you have no idea how much profit someone's making, do you? And it doesn't matter whatever they're making, because for me, I know I'm in it for the long run. Like, and obviously you have been in it for the long run, and so you understand as well. I am in it for the long term, so it's really not a sprint for me. It's a marathon. You know, I mean, it doesn't impress me if someone does 20k in their second month. Don't get me wrong. I think like, wow, like how did you do that? That's brilliant. But it doesn't impress me. It's not like, wow, I wish I did that. You know what I mean? I'm in it for the long run. And to me, I feel like I'm at the stage where it's up to me what results I get, depending on how much time I want to put in and how long I want to stick to it. That's the sort of faith I have in the business. You know, it's just it's a case of figuring it all out for me. And that's what I quite like. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm, you know, it's great to hear you say that, Hayden, because I think sometimes what can happen with this business in particular, I mean, I call it the Amazon emotional roller coaster, because you do go throughout a period of 12 months of selling on Amazon. You have these massive ups and you have these massive downs, and it's like, oh my God, this is working. It's the best thing ever. I'm going to be a millionaire by the, oh God, right. I've lost 2 grand. You know, it's one of those type of things that people kind of have to get used to. And that's, you only learn that through experience. And I think that when it comes to especially new starters selling out. And your store, you know, your experience, it's not the first time I've heard it actually. And I always think it's the people that identify what you've identified in this period of time is, yes, you may not be buying your first Lambo in the first 16 months or 6 months or 12 months or whatever like that. And I use Lambo obviously in a very loose term, but yeah, absolutely. But you've spotted something, you can see the potential, and that's the difference. I don't know anyone predominantly that can start something from zero and within the first 3 to 6 months be, you know, covering their job or doing this or doing that. I think sometimes it gets lost in translation a little bit with various things on YouTube and what people say, and people comparing people that have been doing this for a really long time. This isn't an overnight success business at the end of the day. It's a business just like any other that requires consistency, focus, growth, scaling, all of processes, all of these different things. And once you put all of those things together, then you can start to see the potential and you can grow the business from there. And I think it's really important to be able to recognize that, because the people that don't are the people that come into this business and leave it very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, and they leave a mark on some other people that puts them off as well. And that's
absolutely. And they are, and I really don't want to generalize anyone or anything like that. But those are the people that maybe still hang around the groups a little bit. That maybe are not, but you guys, you all know who the sort of people I'm talking about, that sort of make the odd comment about Amazon and this and Amazon as that. You just focus on your own journey at the end of the day. Now, obviously, you've recognized that this is going to be a business for you, because you've got some quite clear goals now with what you want to do at this business, that you recognize resetting up that kind of landscaping business. You would have been successful, would have earned some good money out of it, but it's not the direction that you want to go with your life. So tell us a little bit more about that. What are the goals for the future?
Interesting. Amazon specifically. I want to go. I was actually meant to be in Australia right now, funnily enough, but obviously COVID didn't help with that. And to be honest, I saw such growth just when I was planning that trip anyway. I was really starting to enjoy Amazon when I was planning that trip. I always knew there was a possibility that I might not go because business might take it over, but I think I would have gone about now because it would have been perfect timing. Anyway, obviously that's not happening now because of COVID, but I'm going away soon in probably a month or so, and I'm going to try and do what another seller sort of does at the moment. I don't want to mention any names, but another seller does. And I sort of want to dot myself around the world for the next couple of years. I sort of want to go away every 6 weeks or every 2 months, hopefully for like a month, and just sort of keep dotting myself around the world just to experience that. Because I really felt like in the unit, you know, I think honestly, this has all come quite recently. About 6 weeks ago, I was 100% going to start a prep center. I was 100% going to get a staff member, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make so much money, it's going to be awesome. And honestly, I was going to do that, and then I just decided that actually, thinking about it, when I took money away, I realized that wasn't really my goals. I feel like I've missed out on a lot of travel because I've been running businesses since I was 18. So starting, failing, missing out on a lot of friendships, relationships and stuff. So I just thought, you know, it's just not for me right now. I need to take 2 years, go travel the world a bit, and then come back and sort of set up my forever business or whatever you want to be. So, and sort of interlink it. So for the next 2 years, I just want to get it to a place where it's sort of systemized, build other e-commerce income streams on top, and just go from there really. So Amazon wise, Amazon at the moment, I'm as you know, I've just got a prep center, and now that's going to give me a lot more hours to focus on growth. And I'm really excited about that. Like, you know, I haven't even had a chance to buy products in the last couple of days because I've just been so busy. So yeah, I'm going to go really hard with the online arbitrage for the rest of the year. Start manual sourcing some higher profit items, you know, which have been absolutely crazy. Thanks to your advice. And then obviously buy from the deal sheet that I've been buying from. And then I also want to set up, those of you who remember, I posted, I think it was in your group or one of them, I posted that I got a brand deal with one of the biggest brands in the UK in the last couple of months, and that's with one of my best-selling. That's one of my best-selling products, and the account is ready to be open. I just haven't had a permanent location to give them because they won't mess around. You know, they said we need a permanent location. We don't do any third-party stuff. So I've got to sort of try and find a way around that to make it look like that's my permanent address, all that stuff. So yeah, and then I want to focus on brand deals and wholesale early next year and just go all in with that. But at the same time as systemizing the online arbitrage, you know, I don't think I'll ever let that go. So that's kind of my plans for the next probably year, really. I just want to really, you know, hit it hard with the brand deals and the wholesale and systemize OA. So that's sort of me for, probably the next 8 months at least. That'll be my focus.
I love it. And I can, you know, Kate said you can't buy life experiences, Hayden said, and I completely agree. I think I don't want to sound like the party pooper here, but it is so true that when you do eventually settle down, get married, have kids, you know, that type of thing. And certainly when we did that, and everybody says it, oh, kids are not going to change me. I'm still going to be able to do everything that I want to be able to do. And it's possible you can do it for one, but then when you get that 2, 3 kids, you know, that type of thing, it becomes very, very difficult. So it is very important to be able to spend that period of time enjoying your life, building your business, and, you know, taking advantage of that time before you have a family. And it makes it sound like, oh, you know, before you have a family, like it's a bad thing. Best thing in my life is my family and my kids, and that's what comes first. Absolutely, I wouldn't change it for the world. But I think the opportunity now, and it brings it back to that thing that we were saying at the very start of this, that I posted in Secret Wealth Project this morning. When people ask me, is it too late? No, it's not, because the opportunity is absolutely massive for people to start their own business now. 10 years ago, it was a lot harder to start your own business. And that's because it's to do with, I can't remember who I was talking about this with the other day. You used to have to jump through so many different hoops to be able to open a business bank account. You couldn't just open one up within 5 minutes like you can now. Couldn't just immediately go to a platform, list a product and sell it straight away. You can't, you couldn't set up a funnel and be able to sell through Facebook advertising. I'm not just talking about Amazon, of course, I'm talking about all different kind of online marketing opportunities or online sales opportunities. So the answer is no. And then, added to that as well, if you are in a position like yourself, Hayden, where you haven't had kids yet, and you're not at that point in your life. So compounding with that, with the opportunity that is available at the moment, oh my God, the opportunity is massive.
That's it, yeah. And like with the prep center, I was like, look, I know it's going to be stress. I've had service business and service, you know, I've employed staff before, like, you know, and it's going to be the same, probably going to be the same kind of staff, to be honest. And you're going to have issues of some staff, not all, but some that aren't going to want to be there, and they're going to call in sick, and I'm going to have to deal with that. And then I'm going to have to say no to travel when I'm like, no, it's just not the right time. It's hard to say goodbye to that money for now, because I know that I could make a prep center work, but no, you know, it's just, I know how much work it would be. I just, you know, I can see it from the offset, thousands of products. Yeah.
And no. I'm not allowed in the prep center anymore. I've been fired massively. No, I'm not allowed. Yeah, there's me laughing at your boxes, but honestly, I'm not allowed to touch anything to do with prep. I muck it up totally. So let's go back and check in some of the comments and questions. By the way, guys, if you've got any questions for Hayden as we're going along, just pop them in the comments. I know everyone's kind of commenting anyway. So a few people said about new FBA centers. My Matt said splits seem like a lot less this year as well. So I mean, he does the shipments.
Yes,
Shipments.
Yeah, I've had a couple recently, but obviously I'm not doing the volume that you're sending out. But oh god, they're horrible, aren't they? Split shipments.
Yeah.
I just wonder.
You used to be able to, you won't know this, Hayden, but you used to be able to do little hacks in the system that used to be able to fix split shipments, but they got, Amazon party pooped that.
The last one, I just ended up ordering more of that exact same item just to make up a box worth because I couldn't be bothered to send it back. You know, I thought it was,
Yeah, no, I think the one that catches a lot of people out is those bags and accessories and things like that, because a lot of people don't realize that fashion goes to a different distribution center. So you're always going to get a split with those type of things. So if it's a product that's bordering on fashion-y, if that's a word, which I don't think it is, if it's bordering on that type of thing, then there's a possibility it could get split. And if you've got 6 of them, it's going to have a massive impact on your margin. So just make sure, and no matter how much you hold it back, it's still going to split every single time. So you have to just suck it up and send it in or order more.
Yeah, no, it's oversized stuff as well, isn't it? That I got that. I was like, oh, lovely. I went to Sainsbury's the other day, didn't I? My RA trip. I had one item that was oversized. I was like, why is there no FBA? This is brilliant. Like that, rubbing my hands. And then I found out why there was no.
Yeah, tends to happen, unfortunately. John says he just urges everyone to be ultra cautious with IP claims flying into Amazon. I wanted to pick up on this a little bit tonight, actually. BuyBot Pro is an absolutely essential tool at present. It is 100%. I would worry constantly about being suspended, but then I'm paranoid. Do you know what, John? I go through little stages with Amazon with being paranoid and not being paranoid, and I'm completely on the paranoid plane at the moment. I am seeing some of the highest level of suspensions I'm seeing at the moment. There was a massive wave of suspensions that went out this past weekend about secondary accounts and things like that. Amazon are just trigger happy at the moment with suspensions. And bearing in mind, they went through this big kind of German lawsuit with the German regulators that was supposed to lift all of the suspensions last year, and them not being able to suspend as people as freely as they have, but they seem to be not almost getting worse with it at the moment, because I don't want to scaremonger or anything like that. But I completely agree with John. I think at the moment, Amazon are just super, super tetchy. I don't know if it's because of everything that's gone on this year. I don't know why, but just be really careful. If it's red on BuyBot Pro, don't take the chance. I saw someone post in another group today about something that was red on BuyBot Pro and they sold it. And, you know, obviously, fair enough, obviously. But it's so hard to know what to do and what not to do. But I'm the kind of the opinion, there's enough deals to ignore the stuff that is red. Don't take the chance. It's not really worth it. So, yeah, I'm on the paranoid plane too, John. Don't worry. I'm passenger on there as well.
Maybe Jeff's understaffed and he's doing it all himself. He's just powering through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Decline, suspended. No.
My platform.
Yeah. $1 billion. Yeah, absolutely. Who said that? I'm not sure who said it. Sorry, because I've lost the comments on my phone now, but I remember 2 years ago, Amazon were building fulfillment centers in various places around the country. 100% they were, but that all I think at some point they did come out and sort of say, look, things are going to have to be put on hold a little bit because of everything that's gone on with COVID this year. But they can't continue willy-nilly to just keep building fulfillment centers. So I think they hoped that the seller fulfilled Prime option would give them a realistic option for not continually filling up fulfillment centers. But you know, next year I'm sure they'll get back on track. Let's see who asked this. The private label course that you did, I don't know if was it good? Someone's asked.
I can. Yeah, it was literally.
Sorry, Simona.
It was literally $1 a month, so it wasn't even a high ticket course or anything like that. They just made all their money out of affiliate stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, fair enough. We will have some private label stuff coming at some point next year anyway, for anyone that's interested. It's definitely something we want to introduce through the group for people who maybe want to go down that direction, that have been doing arbitrage for a couple of years and maybe want to look to diversify. So we'll definitely be bringing some more information through Secret Wealth Project next year on that. Cindy says Seller Central looks like an airplane cockpit when you first start. Yeah, absolutely. It does. Definitely.
When I first logged into that, I was like, what on earth is this? I didn't even know where to start. I was like, really?
No, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you're absolutely right, Cindy. It does look like an airplane cockpit, because if you press the wrong button, then you will nosedive into the ground with, with Amazon. Definitely.
Yeah.
David says, good evening. Sorry for being late. You had a client session. That's fine. We forgive you, David. Don't worry. Steve says, all right, David, sorry. I was looking at David before. All right, Hayden, not watching Tribe and Tested tonight. Obviously, that's to do with Matt. I think.
Did you see that comment? Did you see my comment? It's a joke about.
I did. Yeah, I did. I saw it last night. Absolutely. Yeah. It's because he's here tonight, but I think a lot of people are split screening it tonight, so watching both.
I'm having a competition with Matt who can get the most viewers.
Matt, hate to say it, Matt will win probably. So just a few comments about what we were talking about earlier. It's why I don't try and not let the comments go too far behind, because we're talking about that like 20 minutes ago, but just about making sure you stay on your own journey, focus on your own journey, and unless you can look at other people from a motivational point of view, just focus on what you want to do. So Gavin says, should we be looking at getting some stock in at this point? Personally, for me, that's a no, purely because we're in Q4. And when you're in Q4, we concentrate on Q4. The sales velocity is so quick. It's so fast that we just want to be sending in stuff that's going to sell and take advantage of the additional traffic and the additional sales at this time of year. Once you come out of Q4, I'd still say it's not really worth looking at the summer stuff yet. It really does depend on your cash flow, obviously. If you're in a position that you can hold stock and hold on to it for 6 months of the year, why not? If the data tells you that it's going to work. But I think definitely there's too many opportunities with what's going to be coming up over the next 3 months, Q4, potential second wave of COVID. And I don't mean to say that like it's an opportunity to profit off of that. But obviously, in reality, if there is a big second wave and there's another national lockdown, then it's going to happen. But then you've got plenty of other options before that, like Easter and all these different types of things. So certainly my mind's not on summer. I don't know about you, Hayden.
No, certainly not. I completely missed out last summer because I didn't really know what I was doing to this. You know what I mean? I did, but I was nowhere near as advanced as I am now. I'm not advanced now, but I'm better than I was now, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I would say if you're looking to get into the seasonal stock game, in reality, you need to be 3 to 6 months behind of where you are. So in, where we used to have our distribution company, we would often have people placing orders with us for the following season, which would be 6 months ahead, 6 months behind, 6 months ahead. So, but for us, we sell really fast moving consumer goods, whereas the other side of things are fashion, so they tend to be a season ahead. So I would say as long as you're about 3 months ahead of where you need to be in this particular game. So when it comes to selling that summer stock, probably once Easter's gone, that's a good time to look at it. That's just in my opinion. If anyone else wants to add that. Let's have a quick look, see if there's any other comments. John says, only if you can buy really well and are prepared to tie up your money. So that's, I think, an answering to Gavin's question. So start buying for spring, summer. Absolutely. John's a really experienced seller, guys. He's been in this game for a long time. So if he says something, it's going to be true. It's going to be good advice. Sean says if he has another good Q4, I'm going to invest in another unit, keep growing and investing. Absolutely. I
unit.
Yeah, he loves his units. I saw it the other day. It looks really, really good. Brilliant.
Doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean is someone, and again, Sean's got a very different path. Everybody's got different paths with what they want to do with their business, and that's totally okay. Gavin says Facebook and Google are the same at the moment. Someone said because of the elections. Facebook and Google. I don't know what we were talking about there.
We were talking about the way that they're being really rough, if you like, to all their users and stuff, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. So like being proper.
I think Google are doing the same sort of whatever. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay. Got you. Right. Yeah. That's people keep messaging me. Sean says it's why he does eBay as well. Don't rely on Amazon. 100%. I think Matthew Wright was a pure example of that, making sure that you diversify your income streams. A lot of people are on the edge lately. Yeah, 100%. Cindy said I had a letter Monday from the Amazon brand police. Ruined my Monday vibe. I know it really, really sucks, especially when you get that email through from Amazon, because you know they're not. It's like a bull in a china shop. At the end of the day, they're not nicey with it. So Simona says she has that course too. I think that relates to the £1 a month one or something like that. Steve says I had something this morning about my invoice defect rate being over 5%, alarm bells going off. Yeah, just got to keep on top of it. Keep on top of something like that. With that, it's not enforceable at the moment, so it doesn't have an impact on your account health allegedly. But I am a firm believer in Q1, Q2 next year that will be added to. It will become not a suspensionable offence, but it become like a stacked suspensionable offence. So if you've got bad invoice defect rate and you've got a few IP claims and maybe you're, I don't know, a few other things are off path, that it might be a compounding kind of effect, or if you've got some policy violations or whatever. So get into the good habit of doing that now. I know it's annoying. Even if you've got to set an alarm on your phone at 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, just to remind you to look back over the last 24 hours for the business invoices. I know it sucks, but
it is a pain. I can never luckily I'm going VAT registered. I know I said luckily, but I think I'd rather go VAT registered and pay the extra just for the invoices, because I can never have a day off. Like, you know, I have to check just in case, you know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things, and I think in this world that we live in, I can do everything on my phone, and I'm an app person, and I'm this, and I never log into my laptop, or I never log into my desktop. I make sure 100% that I am always logged in on my laptop or my desktop or something like that. I know they've added more features to the phone and a lot of apps and that type of thing, but you can't get as clear indication of what you need to do on your account through the app. Make sure you check it daily on the desktop as well. Just, 9 o'clock, first thing in the morning, whatever. Just get into the habit of checking that, and then, things like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I do that every day. I check my account health stuff every day just to make sure everything's in order. And it's it's a gritting teeth moment, but I do it every day. Yeah, just to make sure. I think it's important, the account health and feedback and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Jed says my first Q4, so not 100% what to expect in terms of price recovery, but prices are tanking everywhere at the moment. I know it depends on the item and the keeper data, but is it generally worth holding out or reducing ROI by a few percent, do you think? So this is a weird period of time, because you hear people, and again, you'll probably identify with this as well, Hayden, is that we talk about Q4. It's so busy. I think Matt and I have talked about it, and Luke and I have talked about it enough. So hopefully people do understand now that we say that when it comes to selling on Q4, that the first month or so on Q4 is actually really bad for price tanking. And people, because there's so many offers, there's so many kind of deals available, deal saturation is something that really occurs during this period of time. So it's important not to kind of follow the crowd and send those prices down as well. Now, of course, every deal needs to be assessed individually. If you cannot tell from the past data that there is going to be a big uplift in sales and the price isn't going to recover that quickly, then of course, if cash flow is an issue for you, then you do need to think about lowering your prices. Obviously, hashtag this isn't an advice on price, advising what people to sell for in terms of pricing or price fixing or anything like that whatsoever. You have to base it on each individual aspect and look at the data and say, okay, I realistically think this could recover. There's X amount of people that have X amount of stock. It looks like it sells X amount in this period of time. So therefore, no, I'm going to hold out. And the important thing is not to make a blanket decision. So if you have 100 SKUs in stock and they've all price tanked, don't set it to 20% across the board, because each one will be individual. And I know it takes time. So maybe set yourself the task of reviewing prices, not all at once, because it's tedious and it's boring and everyone hates doing it, but set yourself the task of reviewing maybe 10 a day or 20 a day. Just make it part of your daily tasks, as opposed to doing it once a fortnight when you've got to review 450 different price changes or something like that. Make it more of a manageable task, and then you can focus more on making an informed decision with what you want to do with the pricing. Hopefully that makes sense. How often do you look at your pricing, Hayden?
Honestly, when I started, I used to look at it all the time. Obviously, you're sort of looking at every single one, aren't you? You're getting irritated. Honestly, now, I don't know, I've probably got 220, 250 SKUs. I don't know. I probably look, but this is good because I can't remember the last time I looked. I think I checked the first page, like page number 1, just to see if any had checked in, or just to see if I was way off, probably a week ago. But that was only for products where I've got like 200-300 in stock, and that's only a few where I go deep on. Because obviously that's the worry. I haven't checked the other ones for at least 2 months, 3 months. I just don't do it. I will do it soon, but to be honest, because I get consistent sales every day, and I see a variety selling every day. I just don't do it. Like, it's only if I have consistently bad days, I will check them.
Absolutely. And that's although there's no right or wrong answer, but that's exactly what I would say. If you see consistency in your sales and you're happy with what those sales are producing, then set it and forget it. Wait for it to recover. If you've got the cash flow to be able to do that, if it's not inhibiting you sending in more goods and creating that consistent cycle of sending goods in, no, absolutely. Just set it and forget it. Worry about it. People who tend to have not as good as expected Q4s tend to have very good Januaries and Februaries. So I wouldn't worry too much if anybody doesn't have the type of Q4 that they're expecting. It tends to be that they have very good January and Februaries. And to be perfectly honest, just for anyone whose first Q4 this is, that maybe started after January and February this year, Amazon is still open in January and February. Amazon still makes sales in that period of time. And January this year gone, which obviously we still hadn't had COVID kick in at this point, was the best January that we'd had. So I think most people expect everything to fall off a cliff in January. And it does to a certain extent, especially if you're selling advent calendars. But if you have a wide variety and diversity in your stock, especially essential goods or grocery or health and personal care, everyday items, then there's no reason why you won't still have a consistent level of sales Q4, beyond Q4.
Yeah, definitely. Do you prepare for Q4 and Q1 at the same time? Are you sort of sending in double whammy, or?
We are at this very moment in time 100% focused on Q4. So there is no focus anywhere else at this point, and it's Q4, and it's just building up. I've set specific targets for what we want to achieve. Especially this will be our biggest year with our own products this year. And we can see the real traction kind of develop. I would say this is probably going to be our last year with a large amount of arbitrage goods, because we just see so many consistent good results with our own products. We'll always keep a hand in arbitrage, and especially in Q4. But this year, at this moment in time, definitely still focusing on Q4. The type of products that I sell do have a drop off in Q1, but they still sell in Q1. So we will still be focused on that, but it will be about looking at new opportunities, and we'll probably start looking at those. I'll be honest, I probably don't start looking at those until we're actually in January, to be perfectly honest. Matt and I, we like to enjoy our Christmas off of our kids and everything like that. And then when the kids go back to school, we generally like to take a week or so, 10 days to ourselves, just to potter about a bit, put the Christmas decorations away. You didn't know me this time last year, so you haven't seen how we do the house at Christmas. So it takes about a week to put all the Christmas decorations away. So do things like that, chill out, and then probably the week the kids go back, Matt and I will sit down and we'll talk about what we want to achieve this year, and is it going to be this or is it going to be that? I mean, obviously this year that all kind of went out the window because COVID happened, and
what was going on there?
Yeah,
you're one of these people that has their house covered in decorations on the outside as well, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You absolutely are, aren't you? You're like the brightest one on the street. I can tell.
I'm a warm white person, so it's probably not the brightest, but it's definitely we do. Sorry, I'm surprised Matt hasn't commented yet. We're definitely when I say we, I mean me. Matt, I'm surprised he hasn't commented and said, why on earth are you including me in your crazy decorations? But definitely it's been such like a crappy year this year in so many respects, from missed holidays, and I know it's a bit first world problems, missed parties, missed friends and family and things like that. I just think I just want to go all out this year and just put up loads of decorations and just really enjoy it. Definitely.
On Scrooge.
He said it, not me. My daughter calls him a meanie greenie because she loves the Grinch. She loves the cartoon The Grinch, and she calls him a meanie greenie. So he is the Grinch, definitely. So Jed says, thanks, that's helpful. Also check your emails from Amazon. Absolutely. So make sure, I think it's Luke that says, I know he sets his emails up for other things, but make sure that you do check those Amazon emails, because a missed email, because sometimes, especially on seller performance issues, and I see that Karen's checked in and commented about what Steve was saying about the invoice, right? So evening, Karen, hope you're well. So make sure you keep an eye on that. But sometimes with not necessarily suspension issues, but like inauthentic claims, they give you a certain period of time to action something. So it's really important to make sure you keep an eye on those emails, ensure that you do that, purely because if you miss that time frame, then that could cause you problems that it wouldn't have caused you if you'd have just chosen to say, no, I'm not going to continue to sell that anymore or whatever. So keep an eye on that, definitely. Let's have a quick look. Chippo says, always at home bored and shopping between Christmas and New Year. Yeah, absolutely. What's quite interesting is Christmas Day is generally quite a good day for sales. And I think it will be this year as well. More so.
Their phones bored. Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
people get given vouchers,
doesn't it? I don't know about you, but after, say, I don't know, there's an anticipation all the way up to lunch, isn't there? And then you look forward to presents, but then you remember that you're an adult now and presents aren't as exciting, and then it just gets a bit boring, doesn't it? A few board games are good, but it's not like it used to be, is it? So you have to sort of fill that void with probably buying yourself more stuff.
I think it's that, like, we don't do presents for each other anymore because we just chat. No, we don't kind of, and it suits Matt.
The kids?
Oh yeah, we do it for the kids. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I think it's when you have kids, and when it comes back, that's when it comes back, when you have kids. Because I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. It's like my mum's loved Christmas. She gave me my love of Christmas, and I think with even in that period of time, definitely in your 20s or when I became a mum, that excitement came back really for Christmas, and really making the effort, doing the house and making it so special for the kids. And I was really lucky as a child. We always had amazing Christmases with amazing memories, and it's just something that you just kind of want to pass on to your kids. So I do go all out at Christmas, and it's not necessarily about money. It's about creating those memories as a family, which which I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't work for myself. So I don't just randomly kind of make these comments. Everything that we talk about like this, my love of Christmas and being able to go to Disney and Florida and all these different types of things, I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't do what I did, you know, with running my own business or running our own businesses. So you can get to do what you want to do. Absolutely. And that's why, going back to what Kate said earlier, you have got to live those life experiences and enjoy what you're doing and choose the path that's right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And for me, I feel like I'm just so I am really grateful for Amazon. You know, a lot of people, you know, get really irritated by it. And don't get me wrong, I do as well. And I'm sure there's a lot of things I haven't experienced yet. Just going into VAT, it's going to be a headache. But it's still given me the opportunity to even be able to think about going around and traveling the world and having enough money to do so and living the laptop lifestyle. It's like, hold on a minute, like, yeah, you've got issues here, but look at the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like, who else has this opportunity? Not many people, you know. So and that's the opportunity that Amazon allows, isn't it? So even though it does get irritating, I try not to get myself too mixed up in that, you know. Just first world issues, isn't it? You know, it really is.
Yeah, I'll always be really grateful to Amazon. It's taken me in a direction that I always thought I would go in anyway, but I didn't know which route it was going to kind of go down. And I have to be grateful to Amazon because I get to do stuff like this, which I never in a million years thought I was going to ever do. When I first started commenting the Secret Wealth Project, I didn't think I'd end up doing this. Didn't think I'd end up running, you know, my own group with elite sellers and that. Pardon?
Did you used to just comment on here? You were just another one of the users. Really? Because I wasn't here. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I just found the group. I found the group. Joined this group. Joined a few other groups. Joined Luke's group. So obviously known Luke for a few years. And, you know, just commenting like anyone else and offering advice or doing this or doing that. And then the opportunity came up to open a prep center, which we opened Easy Prep. And that's how I came a bit more known kind of in the group. But yeah, never intended to do this. It was never
in the whole thing. Like,
yeah. And I remember exactly what it was because it was Karen. Karen gave me the best advice to do with this because it was always like, I don't know if I don't want to go on screen. I don't want to go on camera. I don't want to do that kind of thing. And she was like, just do it. Just do it and just talk. And I've just talked ever since. and that's what it's happened. Because obviously I know that this is part of your plan as well, Hayden. Yeah. You've got your own group, which we'll give you a shout out for your group as well. YouTube, going down that route as well. And also kind of doing something a little bit similar where, you know, you like talking to different sellers and that type of thing. So that's kind of all part of the master plan for you as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So if you want me to sort of go into that, I'd love to get you on one day to talk about your journey on my group, as you mentioned, because I'm sure you've got.
Have you got like 4 hours, maybe?
Yeah. Honestly, actually, most of my conversations are between 40 minutes and an hour. There's no way.
No, it wouldn't be with me.
I'm going to be sitting there uploading it to YouTube.
Yeah.
That is going to be good. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I've got visions as well. Yeah, if you want to, so I want to obviously get my group to a nice level as well. Get that up, and then I definitely there's different areas I want to go down, but for me, YouTube is number one because I just love speaking. It doesn't matter what it's about. I just love speaking. Probably similar to you. I'm gonna get some coaches and mentors and YouTube growth mentors soon once I've got the money. And I'm just gonna, because they're a lot of money, you know, like thousands per quarter to hit it hard. And I'm gonna go really hard on YouTube because that's one of my biggest it's one of my biggest interests for sure. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My plans. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what you've got to recognize with this business is that it's not just, and you know, this is something we're definitely going to be going into with Elite Sellers Academy, that when it comes to selling on Amazon, there are so many different other potential streams you can look at. I'm not just talking about doing this type of thing. I mean, well, I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I love doing this anyway. But you know, there's so many different potential income streams that a lot of people don't look at. And I'm not just talking about coaching or YouTube or, you know, or anything like that whatsoever. So definitely as part of Elite Sellers Academy, that's something that we'll be covering in the next 12 months to make sure that everybody has the opportunity. Because once you become an expert in something, once you become an expert in anything that you're doing, then you should monetize that. And like I said, it's not necessarily about making courses or doing this or doing, you can do that. Absolutely. Of course you can. But if you're an expert on something, you need to make sure that you've capitalized on every single part of that expert knowledge and making sure that before you move on to something else, that you are potentially going to create an income stream out of that knowledge, if that makes sense. It's what Russell Brunson or Brunson, whatever his name is, he teaches that when he says, okay, if you need to earn extra money, don't go creating new services and doing this and doing that. Just put your prices up. You know, it's all kind of this element. Instead of going off and becoming an expert in something else and then doing a tiny little part of that, look at what you've already got. Is there a way that you can kind of monetize that?
Yeah, definitely. And just to add on to that as well, that was everything you just said was the biggest mistake that I made in business. I started when I think it was 19 actually. Up until here, okay, I've had relative success, you know, but I've never become the level of success that I want, obviously. And I know it's early days, but, you know, a lot of times I've missed opportunities. And the reason that I missed opportunities was because someone I follow, a good businessman, the other day on Instagram, just explained it like this. You know, he said that what you do is you pull a truck, you know, you start pulling a truck, anyone pulls a truck. And if you've seen in The World's Strongest Man, where they pull these trucks and it takes them ages to pull these trucks and get the momentum going, isn't it? But once they're going, they're off and there's no stopping them. So that's how we describe business. You know, you start pulling it a little bit, the momentum's not there, you start pull it a little bit more. And just before the momentum goes, like, you know, 9, 10 month mark, maybe a year, people tend to give up. And they start pulling another truck and they keep repeating that process. That's what I did. So what he said is, and it just stuck with me so well, rather than keep doing that, what you want to do is pull that truck, go the extra mile, get the momentum going, and then start pulling another smaller truck that is just that is in the same industry. Start pulling a truck that's in the same industry, but it's another income stream, because then you can leverage your profile, you can leverage your experiences, you can leverage everything that you've got, your contacts, your money. Do you know what I mean? You can leverage it onto different ones. And then once you've got them all going, the momentum's going on all of them, multiple streams of income, isn't it? And then you can get someone to run it all and then sort of do what you want. And that analogy stuck with me really, really well. And it made me realize that that's exactly where I've been going wrong, you know, jumping into a whole other industry. So that was to carry on the point that you said, yeah.
No, absolutely. And there is no better example than what is going on in another Facebook group at this very moment in time, who is Matt running his secret tribes at the end of the day. That's exactly that premise. I know he talks in particular about his business partners and things like that, but you build a business. He very much talks about the fact you might not earn a penny from that business for a year. A year. He told me that from the start. As soon as I started working with Matt and Karen, he said, you know, you might not earn anything for a year or this or that. And it's so true. You have to deliver a certain level of value. And this is any industry. This is any industry of what you're in the way that it kind of the world is working. And it's so true. So for anyone that's kind of, you know, thinking of giving up, what is it? Is it 2 feet from the diamonds or two feet from gold, or that analogy, or whatever it is, you know, just keep going. Keep going. And I think it was so poignant last week when Matt said at the end of the interview, I said, right, any last kind of words of wisdom, anything that you want to leave us with? And just very simple was, don't give up. You know, how true is that?
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because coming from someone at that level, it really does mean something. It's because it's so busy on social media. Everyone's giving out advice and stuff. It's really easy to overlook the important advice, isn't it? From people that are actually in it, it's easy for that to just fly over your head.
Yeah, I loved Matt's interview last week because, you know, he really talked about how, so if anyone hasn't watched it yet, you know, there's been some really good interviews over the last few, well, hopefully everyone always enjoys the never mind the buy box, but in particular, obviously Matthew Wright and Matt Baker as well. And, you know, a few other people, because Matt in particular talked about last week how they were in a real pickle in terms of they got ripped off by one of their product suppliers, and they had to move because of it, and all these different types of things, and they could have given up. They absolutely given up. Matt and I, in the last 10 years, we've been one mortgage payment away from not being able to pay our mortgage. So you have to keep going. You have to keep going, because if you give up, it's like with the whole premise of Elite Sellers Academy, you should never stop learning. And that's where the idea from Elite Sellers came from, because you do a course and you kind of forget, you know, you do the course and you finish it, and you maybe you're motivated while you're doing the course, but then you don't do it afterwards and stop doing it. But I've learned that you can't ever stop learning at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that you do a course and then you don't do anything else. The more you can absorb, the more you can keep going, the more consistency, and then never giving up, it will eventually happen.
Yeah, I've got a good example here on my graph. I'll just show you. This is when I posted it somewhere the other day, but it's a great graph. If someone's not seen it, let me just spin this around. So literally, you can see that was like the beginning to where we are now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
You have no idea how much I wanted to give up. Well, you probably do because you were there. But do you know what I mean? Like, can you just see the difference there in the numbers? That was the first 4 months were horrible. Like, and even the 5th, I was like, okay, it's okay, but we're not really getting anywhere. And all of a sudden, it just sort of went. It just, you know what I mean? It just exploded.
You just have that light bulb moment that every Amazon seller gets. And again, I probably say it. I say this probably more than I say anything else. You don't know this business works until it works. It's a vicious circle. So you have to kind of keep going. And it's all right if this business is not for you. I think sometimes as well, it's important to say it's not for everyone. Yeah. It's really not for anyone. But don't give up because you're giving up because you don't think it works. You know, it's important to be able to look at all of those different elements and say, okay, this doesn't work for me for this reason, not just because, Amazon doesn't work, because Amazon does work.
I don't know what you think about when people say, oh, online arbitrage doesn't work or it's dying or something. I just, for me, I think that if you're just going to go down a completely traditional route of, you know, go to a deal sheet, jump on ones that everyone else is doing. By the way, I still think that can work because I do still buy from deal sheets, but I just have another strategy, a long-term strategy behind that, or whatever, or I'm willing to go, you know, low, whatever, around Q4. I think that still works, but generally, I think that's what everyone associates it with. Whereas I'm constantly looking for other ways of finding deals that are online arbitrage. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to adapt, and I don't follow the masses. I'll try and look at them and do the opposite. That's what I try and do when I'm sourcing stuff. I'll try and source stuff that others won't source or that others aren't looking for, and that's what I'm sort of finding works.
Yeah, absolutely. Variety is the spice of life. It's something that I always say the most successful sellers will source from they will give themselves the most variety of deals and the most they give themselves the most leads and opportunities as possible, and they source from as many different options as they can, and you know, just making sure they're utilizing all the information that's coming that way. The amount of people that I speak to that will just take and find one deal but then not pursue that one deal any further. It's all about rinsing everything. And again, I keep saying it's what we talk about in Elite Sellers Academy, where we just talk about never leave any stone unturned. Make sure that you always be a bloodhound, follow every potential lead. And then when it gets to a point where you're looking at more of the unique products or products that you can customize yourself, or these different types of things, you'll give yourself so much opportunity that it's almost kind of overwhelming, the amount of deals. And then you're into a position, you go from, how did this happen to me, that I couldn't find any deals when I first started, to now I just have an abundance of deals kind of coming away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it feels like yesterday I was sitting on that sofa right there, and I was just so frustrated that I spent 2-3 hours and I couldn't find anything. And now I'm trying to find 2-3 hours to sit down and buy 3-4 grand's worth of deals, and they're just sitting there waiting for me. And it's like, wow, where did this come from? And you don't even look back, because it just becomes a part of the business, doesn't it? You find it really hard to be grateful for that, you know, because it's just another cog in the machine, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, let's check in a few of these comments. Emmanuel has joined us. Evening, Emmanuel. He's going to give us the 2-hour warning at some point. He's our timekeeper during Elite Sellers Academy, so he always gives me a time warning when I'm talking too much. So thanks for that. A few nice comments. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to read them out because I get too embarrassed, but thank you, Amalia. Thank you, Luke. Great interview. Let's just have a quick look. Manuel says Delivery Deals is now back open for business.
I just signed up tonight. Just before. Yeah.
So there we go. I literally sent them an email a couple of days ago on behalf of Elite Sellers Academy, and I was like trying to see if I could get some sort of like deal, because I like to be able to go and kind of negotiate with people and say, look, I've got X amount of people that want to sign up, and now they've opened up the doors. So there we go.
they've got Waitrose on the books. You know that? They've got Waitrose on there, and what's a godsend is that loads of items that I was selling from Ocado have now gone to Waitrose, back to Waitrose. So yeah, brilliant, godsend.
Wow, thank you for sharing with that, Emmanuel. I now predict that Delivery Deals within about an hour from now will be closing its doors after watching this. So Heather says Delivery Deals is a bit like Complete Savings in the sense that it's a money paying cashback deal. I think it's $9.99 a month. They still, I hope they've changed. They used to pay by check. I'm not sure if they still pay by check, because I haven't used them for well over a year now.
Yeah, I've seen check. I see another seller that gets checks all the time.
Yeah, so it's still check, but I think it's $9.99 a month, but you should be able to, I think you can claim back that $9.99 through rebates like you can with Complete Savings. But with Complete Savings being like a little bit iffy at the moment, then, you know, it's kind of it's good to be able to spread the risk across many different deals. But they also do discounted gift cards as well, which is another place to be able to get them from. So definitely worth looking at as well. So Emmanuel says every day is a school day. Elite Sellers Academy is a godsend. Continuous and ongoing learning is vital. It's the lifeblood of development progress. Oh, thank you, Emmanuel. Very nice of you to say. Chippo says abundant mindset is everything, of course. Zane says hello, Zane. So Inga says she's still waiting for the light bulb moment. Keep struggling with sourcing. Yeah, I know it's that we've kind of all been there. We've all been there. It's really, really hard to have that moment, but just keep going. Just keep going. This is a really good time to be able to explore kind of lots of deals and being able to look, you know, at different places to sort. So just keep going with that manual sourcing. It will click into place, I promise. Peter says, do you think it's ethical to do OA? Because we're taking deals away from poor people who could benefit from the deals more than us. I think, personally, my 2 cents on that is I've never been a scalper. So I've never been one of these people that deliberately looks out the hottest selling Christmas toys and goes and rushes and clears the shelves from that point of view. I was talking about this the other day with someone else, actually, that when it comes to like OA, RA and that type of thing, I always leave some stuff on the shelf. I never clear the shelf. I've never done that. So if there's 10 on the shelf, I'll maybe like leave 2. or whatever. I know that that's not, what everyone does, but I think I don't. And again, we've talked about this in Secret Wealth Project before. What's that point? Where's that moral point or that moral line of the difference between ripping someone off and offering a service? Personally, the way I look at it is, if you're getting something through Amazon, then you're getting it next day, which ordinarily you would pay £6-7 for, or £5 for, or something like that, if you were ordering it from another retailer. You get the protection of buying from Amazon that you don't get from anywhere else in, or any other retailer whatsoever. And I think it's one of those things, as long as you're, not ripping people off, I don't see the issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's never even crossed my mind. So I don't think it's an issue whatsoever. It's never even crossed my mind. It's just it's a massive company that are putting clearances on their items or not. It's not all clearance, by the way. So that whoever commented that, obviously, some items are clearance. You can take what clearance you want from the company. Some items that I buy, 70% of items I buy aren't even on the clearance, so I'm not taking away from anyone. They can still buy them if they want. It just doesn't even cross my mind. It's just one business buying from another business in my eyes. That's just how I see it. I don't. Yeah. There's enough products to. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the way you've got to look at it is there's always a chain of retailers. At the end of it, it's very, very rare that a manufacturer will sell direct to a consumer. So there's always cogs in the chain along the way, and each person in that chain needs to make money. So it's part of, business 101 kind of thing, that everyone makes margin on what they do. We provide a service at the end of the day for hard to get items, or whatever way you want to look at it. So yeah, it's something that I think, each to their own at the end of the day. As long as, as long as you're happy doing it, not happy ripping people off, obviously, that's not what I meant, but I think it's something that, each to their own. And I don't see potentially any difference from kind of markup from other different types of products and different services and things like that, because it's all about running business at the end of the day. Not everyone obviously can do it for no profit or whatever, if that makes sense. Let's have a go. I think lots of questions about delivery deals. So did someone put a link? I think David put a link, something like that. I think Peter says the ethical standard has never crossed your mind. Shocking. Well, it's each to their own at the end of the day. And we were talking about that from different standpoints and different points of view. So yeah, absolutely. Right. Delivery deals. Everyone got a link for that? I think that's what it is. I think everyone's now knows what it is. So I think Heather said she didn't still quite get what it is. So it's a cashback site. That's probably the one thing I didn't say. And then you can also claim back delivery charges as well. But if you go onto the website, you should be able to have a look. Christos made a nice comment about is enjoyed watching us, but we enjoy watching you as well, Christos. David says, think about Tesco selling potatoes from a farmer. How is that different from what we do? Absolutely. So it's one of those things that I know lots of people have different standpoints and views from, and it just depends which way you look at it, obviously. Right. Just checking if that's it. Yeah, any other questions, let me know before we go. But wow, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. So time flies when you're having fun.
Certainly. Yeah, the delivery deals, I think they're quite hard. They like to hide their links a lot, don't they? They don't like to give away their sign-up links very easily.
No, at least they're better than Complete Savings, because I ignored Complete Savings for about a year when they first came out, and because it looks like the scammiest, like, phishing type of sign up link possible. And I think, well, I'm not going to click that, because clearly someone's going to empty my bank account and I'm going to end up signing up to something. So they're a little bit better from that point of view. But I know Delivery Deals has I think it has a limit of £1,000 a year that you can claim. So it's not a high amount, like complete savings is 250 a month. But obviously it's one of those things that if you can, husband and wife sign up on different email address or whatever, but you didn't hear me say that. Shh. Didn't hear me say that. But yeah, obviously just I shall leave that up to people's imagination, how you can capitalize on the different cashback sites, of course. So, I mean, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch your progression over this Q4 and going into 2021. And for anyone who is going to kind of enjoy watching you do your traveling. So you're hoping to go away next month?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I say definitely, but no, I just remembered about COVID. So yeah, it'll be happening for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then you're just gonna kind of go off and for like a couple of months to start with, or
just be a couple of weeks to start with. I'm going to go on an actual holiday and enjoy the holiday, and then I think maybe I'll come back for a month and then start going away progressively. Yeah, like on a regular basis. So that's going to be nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't even realize holidays still exist at the moment. So it will be nice. It will be nice to see that, definitely. So, well, thank you so much, Hayden. Thank you for joining me and spending an hour and 40 minutes of your time. I know you're a busy guy with lots of stuff going on. It's been a real pleasure. And like I said, really look forward to seeing your progression over the next kind of 6 to 12 months and everything that you could do. And I know that you're just going to absolutely smash it and be a massive success in whatever you're doing. So yeah, it's definitely exciting to watch. Thank you for everyone that's joined us this evening. We appreciate you spending the evening with us. It's always a pleasure. We always enjoy doing this. Next week, normally, I think Luke Dugan might be back next week. I think it's Luke. And then week after that, I think, this is me and mine. Normally I check beforehand, but for some reason I didn't check tonight. Then I think Mark Hawley is going to be joining us in a couple of weeks. Might be next week, might be the week after. Not 100% sure. So, I mean, that's going to be an absolutely massive one because people get the chance to ask all those questions and marks. It normally turns into like a 3-hour bonanza of poor Mark getting hammered with loads of, can I do this? Can I do that? So that will be a good one to look forward to, definitely, as well. Lots of PNs saying thank you. Great turnout for you, Hayden. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, considering Secret Tribes was on, I'm very surprised with the turnout.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, I do think we. Sorry, I just read Emmanuel's comments.
Yeah, so did I.
If only elite sellers could last as long as I'm working on it. It's because there's a learning element to elite sellers as well. Definitely try and keep it under the 2-hour mark this week. So for those of you at Elite Sellers Academy, I will see you guys on Thursday. Remember, Secret Tribes is on for the rest of this week, 7 o'clock every single night, for Monday to Friday. The level of content that Matt is delivering for free in that particular group is astounding. So please make sure you get the opportunity. I think Matt won't mind me saying that he's probably not going to be doing it again for quite a while. So it's really important if you get the opportunity to look at that information, because he ain't playing about. The information comes down on Sunday. That's not a bluff. It comes down. So make sure you do get a chance to watch that and absorb that information from the $8 million or 8-figure internet marketer that is Matt Webley. So please make sure you get a chance to look at that, guys. Thank you once again, Hayden. As I said, absolute pleasure. Thanks to everyone who has watched tonight. We're under the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to leave it there. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you all soon. See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.